The past is in your head, the future is in your hands. With this, dear student, I welcome you back and I wish you all a very good and bright morning. Students, today we are going to read a new chapter of your honeysuckle book. So let us just know about the chapter. Yes, so students, the name of the chapter is A Different Kind of School. This is your chapter number 5. Okay, so this chapter is very unique. And what is that unique thing in this? We'll know by reading the chapter. So let us just start one by one. I had heard a great deal about Miss Bean's school, but not till last week did the chance come to visit it. When I arrived there was no one in sight but a girl of 12. Right. So what happened? They've introduced us that there was a man who wished to go Miss Bame's school. Why? Because he had a great deal about the school. Right? He had heard a lot of thing about that school. Now, what was that great and what he had heard that we are going to learn further. So when he reached there, he, he saw a girl of about 12 years. Her eyes were covered with a bandage, and look at her. Isn't she had covered her eyes with a bandage? Yes. So when he visited the school, he saw a girl whose, eyes were covered. And she was being led carefully between the flower beds by a little boy who was about 4 years younger. She stopped and it looked like she asked him who had come. He seemed to be describing me to her. Then they passed on. So what did he saw? He saw a girl, who applied, who covered her eyes with a bandage, and the young boy, he was 4 years younger than her. She was of 12, right? He was helping her to move forward. And now, Miss Bean was all that I had expected. Middle aged, full of authority, yet kindly and understanding. Her hair was bringing to turn grey, and she had the kind of plump figure that is likely to be comforting to a homesick child. So, plump means little healthy, fat. So, Miss Beam is the owner of the school, right? She's the principal of the school. And finally, he met her, and as he expected her, she was that only, like middle aged, full of authority, and she was very kind and very understanding, right? I asked her some questions about her teaching methods, which I had heard was simple. So the author, writer started asking her some teaching methods about their school. No more than is needed to help them to learn how to do things. Simple spelling, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and writing. The rest is done by reading to them and by interesting tasks, during which they have to sit still and keep their hands quiet. There are practically no other lessons. So, these were the methods by which they used to teach the students. The real aim of the school is not so much to teach through as to teach thoughtless. Okay? Thoughtfulness. So, their main aim was to teach the thoughtfulness, right? Kindness to others and being responsible citizen. So what was the main motive of the school, Miss Bean school? To make the children, to teach them thoughtfulness, kindness to others, and being responsible citizen, right? Look out of the window a minute, will you? Now she's asking him to look out of the window. I went to the window, which overlooked a large garden and a playground at the back. What do you see? Miss Beam asked. I see some very beautiful grounds I said, and a lot of jolly children. Jolly means happy. It pains me, though, to see that they are not all so healthy and active looking. When I come in, I saw one poor little girl being led about. She has some trouble with her eyes. Now I can see two more with the same difficulty, and there's a girl with a crutch watching the others at play. She seemed to be hopeless cripple. Now what happened? When Miss Beam asked him to look out of the window, he saw it is very, good surrounding. It's very nice and beautiful, but I'm very sorry for some of the children because they are not physically well. And he started telling him about a girl which he saw at the beginning, right? And he said that I can see more girls like her, and one girl I can see that she's on the crutch and she's not able to move. I think there's some problem in her legs. Now Miss Beam laughed. Oh no, she said. She's not really lame. This is only her lame day. The others are not blind either. It is only their blind day. Now, lame day means a day in which she acts as if she was lame, which is not able to walk. You know. So now Miss Beam, she laughed on it and she said, "Oh no, 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 no! You're getting it all wrong. She's not really lame and she is not blind. This is just this is just her lame day. The others are not blind either. It is only their blind day." Now, I must have looked very surprised, for she laughed again. Now, by listening to this blind day, lame day, and what is this? The writer started thinking, and Miss Beam laughed at him again. This is a very important part of our system to make our children appreciate and understand misfortune. We make them share in misfortune too. Each term, every child has one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day, one injured day, and one dumb day. During the blind day, their eyes are bandaged absolutely and they are on their honor not to peep. Now, what is it about? Miss Beam School has this, has one different day, means one blind day, one on the blind day they will, the boy or the girl, whoever blind day is it, he or she will you know cover her eyes or his eyes with a bandage. Okay, one lame day, one deaf day, so they were having these different tasks. Okay, and it was into their syllabus. Now during the blind day their eyes are bandaged and absolutely they cannot see, they cannot peep from that bandage. The bandage is put on overnight so they wake up. This means that they need help with everything. So at the night only they cover their eyes with the bandage. Okay, so that when they will wake up the next morning they will wake up with no eyes. They will act like as a blind child or children. Other children are given the duty of helping them and leading about them. They all learn so much this way, both the blind and the helpers. Now, some of the children are there to help them right on that day. There is no misery about it, Miss Beam continued. Everyone is very kind, and it is really something of a game. Now, she's explaining him, the writer, that it is not, very difficult or misery. It is not unpleasant, but they enjoy their task. How do they enjoy the task? Because they help each other, right? They're very kind to each other and they're very, very helping. Before the day is over, though even the most thoughtless child realizes what misfortune is. Very thoughtless means very careless. When the day will end, even the very careless student will realize what is misfortune. It can happen with anyone, right? Misfortune can happen with anyone. You never know. The blind day, of course, really the worst, but some of the children tell me that the dumb day is the most difficult. Now, Miss Beam is telling him that the blind day is the most difficult, but some of the children, confess that the dumb day is the most difficult. Why? Because we cannot bandage the children's mouth, right? On the blind day, we can bandage the eyes, but can we bandage the mouth? No. So they really have to exercise their willpower. So they'll have to, it is a very big task to test their willpower. Come into the garden and see for yourself how the children feel about it. Now, Miss Beam is asking the known writer to come into the garden and meet some children. Miss Beam led me one of the bandaged girl. How's the gentleman come to talk to you? Here's a gentleman come to talk to you, said Miss Beam and left us. Now, Miss Beam introduced the writer with the girl you all remember at the starting? Yes. Don't you ever peep? I asked the girl. Now he's asking the girl, do you ever, try to peep from the bandage? Oh no, she exclaimed. That would be cheating, but I had no idea it was so awful to be blind. So now she has realized that it is very bad to be blind, very awful. You cannot see a thing. You feel you are going to be hit by something every moment. It's such a relief just to sit down. Now she is, saying just to when I'm blind, blind day, I just like to sit down in a place. This is the very good thing, because every time you just imagine or you just think that you're going to be hit by something every moment, right? Are your helpers kind to you? I asked. Fairly, but they are not as careful as I shall be when it is my turn. Those that have been blind already are the best helpers. Now she's telling, as the writer is asking him, are the helpers good to you? Are they fair? Now the girl is saying, yeah, not that, because they don't have the experience of the helpers, but I can be the best helper. Why? Because I know how to guide the blind, because I have experienced it, right? So that is why she can be a good helper. Shall I lead you anywhere? I asked. Now the writer asking that girl, shall I lead to you somewhere? Oh yes, she said. Let's go for a little walk. Only you must tell me about things. I shall be so glad when today is over. The other bad days can't be half as bad as this. Having a leg tied up and hopping about on a crutch is almost fun, I guess. Having an arm tied up is a bit more troublesome. Troublesome means difficult, because you can't eat without help. And things like that. I don't think I'll mind being deaf for a day. At least, not much. But being blind is so frightening. My head aches all the time just from worrying that I'll get hurt. Where are we now? In the playground, I said. We're walking towards Miss Beam. We are walking towards the house. Miss Beam is walking up and down garden with a tall girl. What is the girl wearing? My little friend asked. A blue cotton skirt and a pink blouse. Now, the writer is guiding her as she is having a blind day, and he's telling everything in detail. Now, the next thing which she asked is, what is the girl wearing? My little friend asked. A blue cotton skirt and pink blouse. I think it's Millie, she said. What color is her hair? Very light, I said. Yes, that's Millie. She's the head girl. Now, by the description given by the writer, she guessed it that it is Millie. She's the head girl. There's an old man tying up roses, I said. Yes, that's Peter. He's the gardener. He's hundreds of years old. Now she's saying that the gardener is hundreds year old. And here comes a girl with curly red hair. She's on crutches. That's Anita, she said. Now you can see she know everything now. And so we walked on. Gradually, I discovered that I was 10 times more thoughtful than I ever thought I could be. I also realized that if I had to describe people and things to someone else, it made them more interesting to me. When I finally had to leave, I told Miss Beam that I was very sorry to go. Oh, she replied, then there is something in my system after all. Now she's just mocking, and she's just giving the sarcastic smile on the sarcastic smile that yes, I know my system is that good that you don't want to leave, right? So this was Miss Beam school, how she was teaching every student to be to don't just don't regret being. Misfortune can occur anytime, and it can harm anyone. You don't know, you never know when are you going to be blind, or when are you going to hurt yourself. You'll be deaf, dumb, right? So she was training every student already, right? She was she was teaching them to appreciate the misfortune, isn't it? So even our system should be like this. Are you all excited for that? Right? But her school system was like this, in that she was able to teach everyone how to appreciate the misfortune, right? So that was the lesson, my dear students. So what lesson do you get? That you should always thank God for whatever you are having, right? And if you're not having anything, if you're if you're dark, or if you're not able to see well, you should appreciate that, right? You should appreciate the misfortune. Understood? So that's all for today, dear students. Thank you and have a nice and wonderful day.